Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, can I congratulate everyone who's been involved in putting on today's display. Mr. Mellon, again, I understand, has been the star of the show, and I've spoken with Jim on many occasions and always impressed with his vision, innovation, and energy and enthusiasm. And if you can't get enthused, if you've got Jim as a speaker, then you've got no hope in business at all, I'm afraid. I can't add very much, actually, to the technical knowledge that I'm sure you've all gained today. But I know a number of you are from off Ireland and perhaps aren't fully aware of a little bit of the background to the Isle of Man and its economy and the way government is committed to supporting the economy on the island. Very briefly, and I apologise to those locals who've heard this story before, 30 years ago, the Isle of Man was in a very desperate state economically. It was a basket case. We had very high unemployment, very high immigration, and our GDP per head of the population in comparison to the UK was roughly 50%. So the Isle of Man was a very depressed area altogether. A few weeks ago, the World Bank issued its assessment of our gross national income figures per head of population and have placed the Isle of Man at number 8 in the world. So in 30 years, because of the efforts that the Isle of Man government and working in partnership with the business community have moved the Isle of Man from being one of the poorest places in Europe to number 8 in the world in terms of gross national income per head. That hasn't been achieved by accident. That's been achieved by a huge amount of hard work on the part of government in terms of creating the environment, but more importantly, the relationship government has with the business community and the ideas, the innovation, the stimulation and hard work, frankly, from the business community working alongside us have developed a world-class economy now, which is still growing between 3 and 4% net. We have not been in recession, and we have an unemployment figure of 2.5% or thereabouts. So the island's economy has grown enormously, and I hope for those of you who are first-time visitors here, you'll get a very clear impression of the absolute commitment this government has to stimulating innovation and economic growth. Because within that economic growth, the Isle of Man, although many of you may know us for financial services, but we do in fact have 17 or 18 different economic sectors, ranging obviously from financial services, but we also have e-gaming, we have shipping registers, aircraft registers. We are 5th favourite at the moment, as some of you may know, to put the next man on the moon. This is a little rock in the Irish Sea we're talking about, a little backwater which in the past has only benefited from tourism, a little bit of agriculture, a little bit of fishing. But because of the commitment of the government to business, to the business environment, we have got ourselves now recognised at a world level for some of the activities that we're involved in. That commitment continues. Now, the Isle of Man, without going into any great details, does have a problem at the moment in terms of having to rebalance its budget. We are well on the way to achieving that. But for many people locally, they think rebalancing the budget is the end of the process. Frankly, it's only the end of the beginning. Because the real challenge facing the Isle of Man, and it faces most other, certainly Western countries at the moment, isn't simply rebalancing the budget, is how do we deal with an ageing population and the rapidly reducing, in the Isle of Man's case, dependency ratio between those coming into retirement and those still in the workplace. And I think this is really where the relevance of today comes in. Because the Isle of Man obviously is a small community, disproportionately is likely to be affected by that. But looking long term, we have to grapple with the challenges of how do we provide welfare support for a rapidly ageing population? How do we provide healthcare for a rapidly ageing population? How do we provide pensions for the rapidly ageing population? It's all very well having ideas of encouraging people to live into their 80s, 90s, and I know Jim is going to live till he's 120, he's told me, so we've got a long way to go to get him there. But people have got to have a sustainable life if they are going to grow to that age. It's no good saying, as Mr. Cameron, or Mr. Osborne rather, has recently, that retirement age is going to go up to 70 at some point. That all sounds very good. but people at 70 still have to have a quality of life. They have to be able to physically carry out that work at 70. It's no good saying that your life expectancy is going to be extended to 75, to 85, 95, 100 even, unless there is a commensurate quality of life to go with it. And I think this is really where places like the Isle of Man now is committed in resolving our own demographic problem within the Isle of Man. We recognise the business opportunities that flow out of that, because this is a whole new industry now which has to be addressed seriously by governments everywhere. Because of the Isle of Man's history, its ability to work closely with the business community to identify niche opportunities that other people have turned their backs on, to take risks where other countries perhaps might walk away from. We have a track record, we have a proven record of identifying those opportunities, capitalising on them, and generating new economic growth in the island. And I'm very excited about the biomed industry. I have to say, Jim has been telling me about this for years, and I've got his book, I've got the T-shirt, I've got everything that goes with it. But I think this is an idea now that is coming into its own. Every government, not just the Isle of Man, but there isn't a government in the world, I don't think, that is not faced with similar challenges at present. And therefore, the jurisdictions, the countries who are committed, who recognise the great opportunities in biomed that resolve most of our problems, they help obviously to improve the health of the nation. They will help to improve the economic activity within that nation, and will overall improve the social status of that nation. All these ideas are coming together at the same time now. And so the Isle of Man is very excited to be involved with this seminar today. We are 100% behind this idea. We have a Department of Economic Development which has promoted this and is very actively supporting and hoping to attract new people, hopefully some of your businesses today, to the Isle of Man, to be able to grow with us, to enable us to learn more as to what your needs are, and also to help and I've just caught the end of one or two presentations there, to perhaps put some of the good ideas, the technical ideas, in touch with some of our finance. And the Isle of Man does have finance in abundance in the private sector, which is looking for a home. This is one of the roles that our Department of Economic Development have, and one which will be continued and developed further from today. We are committed to working with you. What I would say to people is, if you have ideas, and again, I'm sorry to keep referring to Jim on this, but he's been one of our partners now for nearly 20 years on the island. If you have ideas, if you think there are areas we can help you with new regulations, new legislation, new packages of support, come and talk to us. We may not be able to give you everything you want, but the one thing we can absolutely assure you is of a fair and understanding hearing that you'll get from government. We are your friends. We're not here to restrict development, to restrict business. Without business, we're nothing, frankly. You are our future. You are the people we depend on for the innovation, for the ideas, and for the energy. Government can only provide the backcloth of the business environment. When I say the Isle of Man Isle of Man government is committed to a partnership with the business community, I don't say that lightly. We have a track record, as I've said, of 30 years partnership. It's proven, it's tested, and it's delivered. And that's the important thing, I think, that everybody is looking for. So thank you all for the contributions you've made today. I think it's a great step forward for the Isle of Man. I hope for those of you who have not been involved with the Isle of Man before, that you've had the chance to learn a little bit more about what we have to offer. I can assure you the Isle of Man is very, very excited about this opportunity, in exactly the same way as I'm sure most of you are in here. The more we talk about it, the more you look at the broader challenges which are facing the world at present, the more relevant what you're trying to do becomes. There are great financial opportunities, I'm sure, business opportunities and successful opportunities there, but also society and the community generally can benefit from this. So if we get this right, it's a win-win situation for everyone, I think, frankly. And the Isle of Man absolutely wants to be there right alongside you in delivering that success. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the Isle of Man. Thank you, Courtney, John, Jim, everybody else who's been involved in putting on today. I think all the feedback I've had so far, it's been very successful. I hope you've learned not only a lot more about biomed and had the chance to exchange ideas and thoughts with each other, but have also had a chance to learn a bit about the Isle of Man and the support we can give you in the process. I hope you have the chance to stay on a little bit later tonight to perhaps carry on those discussions. But if not, please come back to the Department of Economic Development, come back to me as Chief Minister. We are very happy to talk with you and see what support we can give you. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you found it useful. Thank you everyone who's been involved in it, particularly the speakers who've taken the time to put the excellent presentations on for you all. And I hope we'll all see you again. So thank you very much.